Hello everyone, it's Diane, and I got my science books done. So I am going to show them to you. I'll start with the one that will go in my shop this time. Usually I start with the custom order. But I want you to see this. In case you're interested, you'll get to see this one first and then go right to my shop and purchase it if that's what you would like. So this is a book, a vintage school book called Science Through the Seasons. I wanted to look up the date again and I forgot to. I don't know if I still have that page. I don't. So this one is 1950s. This was in the 1950s. There was some dirt here that I didn't like and I couldn't wash it off. It was more than dirt. I think it was like a pen mark. So I collaged some elements there and then added some up here. And it has 3 signatures. I put this little strip of ribbon to cover up the stitches, and I left the back as it is because it's really pretty. I put book corners on this one because the corners were frayed, and I used the hitch post and hair tie fastener. I used pages from the book for the front and back end cap or end papers, and there's a pocket that I cut out of patterned cardstock. And this is cut from my physics book. And I put the tag in here where this book belongs to. And the tags are all tied. There's only a few tags in each book, and they're all tied with the brown eyelash trim that's available in my shop. So the beginning of each signature has a page from the physics book, which is stitched to some ledger paper. It's scrapbook paper, but it's printed like ledger paper. And each one has a little tab that I stamped and cut out. This one says notes. And inside each one is a coffee-dyed index card with one of my Tim Holtz laboratory stamps and a tab. The pages are coffee-dyed. There is no digital printing in this book. I did stamping and I made my own ephemera out of the stamped images and out of images that I cut from the books. So there's a lot of homemade ephemera in here. This is manila file folder. Most of the pieces are made from scraps of manila file folder. This is from a gridded index card that I stamped and punched out and put on with an eyelet. This is an index card with a collage on it. This is graph paper that I had coffee dyed and left laying on paper towels on my counter, and the lines on the graph paper bled and mingled with the brown coffee, and I really liked the way it looks, and I thought it was really cool in the science book. Here's a collage on this page, an image from the physics book and some scrapbook ledger. Another piece of folder with an image from the book and book text behind it. A little stamped image up here. Here's one of my long flapped envelopes. These are called the jeweler's envelopes, and this is a white one, and I have blue and brown ones in my shop. I'm going to put the white ones in this next week. I think instead of getting started on another journal, I've done pretty well in getting some custom orders done. This is a piece of file folder with these pieces collaged on, and I stamped the number that is on the envelope. So instead of starting another journal, I am going to work this next week on getting things listed in my shop, and so I'll get those white envelopes listed along with a bunch of other stuff, I hope. Little piece of ledger. I think this is what I got from Denise's shop, and I coffee dyed it. I used some cheap cardboard stencils to stencil some numbers on some of the pages, and just did some subtle stenciling on just a few of the pages. I like the way this page turned out. It was kind of dark coffee dyed, and then I stenciled some numbers, like jumbled up numbers with vintage photo, I think, and then I used one of Tim Holtz's like an amber color. I can't remember the name of it, but so it's a very subtle design, but I like it. Whoops, I think when I glued this little, there. These little brown envelopes, 2-inch brown envelopes, are also in my shop. so I glued that on. You can tuck something in there. It's like for this science book, it's your little specimen envelope for whatever your specimen might be. So this is one of the book pages, which is this particular book, and I put these little banner shapes on the ends of the strings, and I paper clipped another piece of homemade ephemera with this Tim Holtz laboratory stamp. Maybe you can see this stenciling better here. One of the Rita Donnelly flips, I stitched some ledger paper on here, or lined paper. One of the little tabs that I stamped and cut out, and a tag that I stamped lines on and stamped that image. And you can journal here. This one, this is the scientist just making notes on whatever papers are handy and sticking them down in his book. So you can do journaling on those random pieces of paper. This is actually a stamped image that I cut out. Here is the cascade, the circle cascade that I made and showed on my video, if you happen to see that. 3 circles punched with my 2-inch circle punch out of the gridded index cards, distressed, stamped, and then a brad inserted. The top one has a Tim Holtz number brad. You can either leave it like this or fold it up the way I had it. This one can tuck under that brad a little bit. And you can take the brad off so to remove it from the page and journal on the back of it. Whatever you'd like to do. It's just a fun element. I wanted to do something different decorative since I wasn't using fabric and lace in this book, and I just thought that was fun. Here's a pocket made from the other book, the green book. And these notebooks are all made from that green book also, from pages from that book. And I put on one of my tabs there, and inside is just some graph paper. Several sheets of graph paper to write on. So the second signature, again, this one says important stuff. There's the card in there. This is just a stub from a railroad agent's ticket. So I have a bunch of the stubs left over, so I'll just be sticking them in books. One of the vintage ephemera pieces, and I put an eyelet here and a bulb pin, a collaged index card, and a stitched on image on a Project Life card. It's just a little sticker up here. This one has ledger paper, which is scrapbook paper, and some images from the physics book again. That was such a fun find. And it was a free book, and it was perfect to use as embellishments in this book. I just pulled the hair tie out. Put that back in. There we go. Now, where were we? Yeah. This is file folder again with an image from this book and book page, text page. I just fussy cut her out and glued her on top of that text page. And there's another stamped number. And this is a vintage parcel post label that I tucked in there. Ledger sheet. I think I may have gotten that from an Etsy seller. Oh, I think I may have gotten that from Amazon actually. The greenish paper. This is another of the book pages, and I just put a little envelope on there and some paper to write on, and tucked some of my long skinny tags in there. Some school kids looking in the microscope. There's a journaling card. There's some more stenciling on that page. This one had 3 different stamps done in 3 different colors. You can journal on the back. again, some random paper stuck on, and this one says, "Don't forget or prepare to face the consequences." Instead of the cascade on this page, I just attached just some interesting pieces. This is something that I got from an Etsy seller. I don't know what it is. I don't remember who I got it from. Might have been the brown pear or paper basket. It might have been something different. I don't remember. And I don't know what it's for. I'm not even sure it's vintage. I think it is vintage. But anyway, I thought it was interesting, and it had a hole in it already, so I just attached it with another number paper clip. And then these are pieces that I cut from craft cardstock with my Cricut, and I just attached them with eyelets. I like the way the eyelets look on the back, especially since this is a more industrial looking book. If it wasn't an industrial book and you didn't like the looks of those, you could always put a side pocket here or just some sort of decoration over that. And here's another of the booklets. This one says "Be Productive," and it has the grid paper inside. And the third signature, this one says "Urgent." This is from the physics book here. This is from a Prima graph paper, or ledger paper, and it says "Note" here, and I really liked that for a science book. So I made a pocket out of it and just put this little number Brad on there and stamped this and just stuck a tag in there. Here's one of the CD envelope journaling cards that we made. I won't take it out, but you can journal on the back of that. These were too big for the other book, so here's the other envelope. I'm going to find a page to stick it in here too. So this book will come with both of the CD envelopes, and Amy's book will come with the white envelopes that I stamped. This is from this science book, I think. Yes, it is. Planets, the number 3 up there, and then this is 2 pieces of manila file folder stamped and attached with an eyelet. More of the long skinny tags. This is a vellum envelope. These are available in my shop, and this is from Tim Holtz. Some young scientists busy at work here with their chemistry kits. I had a lot of fun making these. They're quite different. They have a lot of the same elements that I use, but the look is different. No laces, no fabrics. And on this page, I attached 4 of the same type of tag, which I cut with my Cricut, again, out of craft cardstock, and I just stamped different things on them. So I think they're fun. I think I'll be doing this kind of thing more in my other kinds of journals also. And the last booklet. And the back has this little coffee dyed envelope that you can tuck something in, and my little signature tag there. Microscope picture. So this will be in my shop, as I said. Oh, I didn't mention that there's some braid or twill ribbon along the sides here, and this is fabric that it's covered with. And there's cardstock and Tyvek that the spine is made out of. I'll be back with Amy's book in a separate video. Thanks for watching.